I'm Jess Gorman, and I am a theater maker, and I am also an introvert.
I'm Phil Rickaby, and I'm a writer and performer, and I am also an introvert, and this is the Introvert's Guide to.
On the Introvert's Guide to, we talk about the introvert life and how to live it to the fullest.
We will choose a topic and discuss it, as well as try to find other helpful hints on social media and the internet at large.
If you want to drop us a line, we would love to hear from you. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at introvertguide2, the number 2, and you can find the website at introvertsguide2.com. If you want to send us a message, you can do that through the website, or you can email us at introvertsguidetostuff@gmail.com. And remember, we may use your questions or comments on an upcoming episode of The Introvert's Guide to.
And if you like the podcast and you listen on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a comment and a 5-star rating. Your comments and ratings help new people to find the show. But even better, whether you listen on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, if you know someone that you think might like the Introvert's Guide to, tell them about it. Some of our favorite podcasts became our favorites because someone told us about them.
Now listen, before we jump in,
I'm listening.
I got a couple of things that I want to get off my chest.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
First,
Yes.
from our previous of this series.
Yeah, the previous of the I Will Die on This Hill series.
That's
yes.
right. How did your coffee excursion go?
Listen, it's winter and it's shitty out, and I know it's basically like a 5 to 7 minutes walk, but I have not left my house very often. But here's the thing: I've decided that mornings are too. I'm not going to get out of this house in the morning to go over there and grab a coffee and leave, but in the evenings, if I can get there at the right time, there is a beautiful little nook in this coffee shop with one seat, and it's under the stairs, and it's like a perfect writing spot, and that is going to be my spot, and I'm going to start to do that soon.
I'll hold you to it. I was actually trying to find when the episode was released and then check the weather, what it was like in Toronto that day.
Oh, come on, that's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. Now, I just have to say that part of that plan. So mornings are a write-off. I'm not even getting out of the house for a walk
Fair
in the
enough.
mornings these days. And part of the other issue is that I'm trying to relearn lines for my show. So that's like a priority as well. But like I said, I will do it. I'll go in the afternoon after work, and I will leave my house and I will go over there. And that is my promise to you, Jess Gorman.
Okay, sir. Okay. The second thing that I wanted to say,
Yes.
I came fully into this episode horribly unprepared for a reason. I'm ready to not defend myself because the hill that I will die on, I know will spark so many arguments. It will cause debates. I know it. But I know.
Okay.
I know that the people who agree with me are many. I hope.
I will be curious through the correspondence to see who will die on this hill along with you.
Hopefully it's not a lonely hill.
Hopefully it's not a lonely hill.
Hopefully it's not a small little grave there.
Just Jess alone on her hill.
Womp womp.
Maybe. All right.
Do you want me to say
Let me
it?
have it. What is the hill that you will die on?
This has been a recent thing, but I've said this once to you, and I know you disagree with me. I think if you haven't met a particular person before, and you two are corresponding over the internet, and you decide that you're going to meet, I think it's common courtesy to cancel plans the first time. Take it in. Take it in. Listeners, take it in. I'm going to say it one more time. I think it's common courtesy to cancel plans.
What? What? So and here's I need to pick apart this sentence
Bring it on.
as you have spoken it to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That it is common courtesy
Mm-hmm.
to cancel
The
the
first
first
time.
time.
The first time.
I need you to explain
Okay.
why
Mm-hmm.
you believe it is common courtesy to cancel the first time you're going to meet somebody.
Okay. Firstly, we live in such a digitized world, okay? We can connect easily through FaceTime, through Zoom, any platform. We can connect that way, right? If we're going to meet in person, it's going to take a lot for me to get my bearings, get my social standings, correspondence all figured out, everything. It's a big mess for me, okay? If someone cancels for me, I think it's a nice favor. And then I think if we actually make plans the second time, that actually is a big indicator that this person genuinely wants to hang out. And I think it's a great indicator of friendship.
So you're saying that if the person blows you off the first time,
Not blows you off.
okay, cancels. If the person cancels on you the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and then they still follow up are they expected to follow up to reset up the meeting?
It can go either way. It can go
Okay.
either way.
Okay.
Now, to be fair, a caveat to that is there are people who are sticklers to their schedule. For example, you.
Yep.
The first time we ever met
Yep.
in person
Yep.
was a cafe in Toronto, and I knew, hey, this guy's really he needs a schedule. You have to respect his time. So that's the common courtesy. That's the caveat. You need to remember that not everybody is has time blindness. I have time blindness. You do not. So I have to okay, make that accommodation. Also, I was in Toronto. I was when am I ever in Toronto?
Right.
And I had to remember that this is good time. This was a networking thing. Then we became friends. That was important. However, if it's just a casual coffee meet, it's not important. Just to hang out. I think it's great. A great indicator. Nice common courtesy to have a little cancel. It's a little treat. Come on, Phil. Tell me, when someone cancels plans on you and says, hey, listen, I can't come out tonight, is there not, I'm sorry, a little grain that's happy?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Here's I will give you okay. So there are times when, there's the pressure of meeting somebody the first time. And in some ways, you worked your whole day, you go home, you're like, I got to get ready to go out to this thing. And then you get an email that says, hey, I need to cancel. I'm so sorry. Part of me is like, oh, phew, I'm so relieved that this is happening. But the other part of me is like, I have been working up to this all week. I've been like saving up. I've been putting like rest in my bank, in the rest bank, so that I can like get out and do this thing. And now this person's canceling. There is resentment there for me.
Okay, now here's where I'm going to say, here's where you can shift that perspective though. You have gotten yourself all mentally prepared for this. You know exactly what you need to get yourself ready for the time when it's rescheduled. You're mentally ready to go next time. You know what energy it takes. You can now prepare yourself. I am so glad of that. I'm okay with it completely.
Here's the problem with that is for me is I have then for that, because for the week that I've been getting ready, because it takes, you're looking forward to the thing, you're putting you're charging your battery to do the social thing, you're taking extra time, you're like working yourself up for it, and now it's canceled, and I have going out energy and nowhere to go out to, and that doesn't happen all the time. Now I can't, like, I don't have a going out bank because I got this now. I've got the going out energy now, and now I'm like, I've been canceled on. I'm sorry. I'm stuck on this whole, like, that it's a courtesy thing, because I'm like a broken record. I'm so stuck. My brain is breaking on this thing. I don't agree. I don't. I
Wow, it's like looking in a mirror from the last episode. Was this what I was
Yes, yes,
like? I, you know, you can take that energy. If you feel like going out, we've talked about it before. Take yourself off to a restaurant. Go to a cafe. Go do something.
yeah. The thing is, I could do that. I do that anyway, but I had, like, going out of being social energy. I don't have a problem, like, going to, like, a restaurant and sitting by myself and reading or something like that, or anything like that. But here's what I'd like to dig in a little bit
Pick
on this
away. Pick
on this
away.
thing. I want to pick this thing apart just to try to understand it a bit more. Um, has this always been a problem for you? Has this always been a thing for you? Like, the cancellation thing, or is this, like,
Problem.
okay, sorry.
Problem.
Let me sorry.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
I to be fair, I actually thought I could slide that past. I actually thought that maybe I could, like, slide that past, but that's obviously not the case. So, let me rephrase.
Sure.
Has this always been a thing for you, or is this a relatively recent thing, and how did it start?
Okay. Okay. No, I did not always. Okay. Well, first of all, we all know that I canceled like a lot and I gave like the
Mhm.
worst excuses ever. There's no denying that.
Is
When
this
it
wait,
came,
you say that as if it's in a past tense thing. Is this in the past always now, or is this still a thing?
I don't make up outlandish excuses. I
I'm
tell the truth.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. And I actually do say to someone, hey, listen, I'm mentally just not there right now. I can't meet. So I'll do that. However, when it comes to anything business related, any sort of networking thing I can do, I never cancel. That I can't cancel. Again, it's transactional and there's something really positive happening that is if I do this, if I cancel, there's a chance it might not happen. And again, it's someone's professional time. Don't waste it. Not at all what I'm saying. When it comes to maybe meeting somebody for the first time and I'm a little nervous, I know that I can test somebody's temperament and I can find out a lot about a person by how they react when it comes to cancellations. So for me, again, it's a little indicator. So I know I've been doing that for a long time. But since getting my ADHD diagnosis, I've realized time blindness is a thing. And I need people in my life who can be patient, who can be understanding of me not being able to go somewhere, needing to cancel, move things around. And I found those people. And if anyone else wants to come in, they get one cancel. And if they're not doing it, it's me. But again,
So
it depends.
so if they don't cancel for you, is
I'll
that a
do
strike
it.
against them? I mean, I know you'll do it. Is that a strike against them for not doing it? Or is it a test to
No.
see how they react to you canceling? And is that
Mm,
the operative situation, that it's more about, like, if you cancel, how do they react?
yes, that's it. And I'm trying to figure out how to word this properly, but yes, if they don't cancel, I will do it for them. I just want to know what you're like as a friend. I've gotten burned before by somebody, and it's not that I was canceling, it's that I would I did have to cancel the one time. I gave again legitimate reason. I'm not lying when I cancel. And if I actually follow through with it and I don't cancel, they don't cancel, that's a good day and I'm going to take it and just go with it, right? Like you said, I have a whole bunch of energy that I was working up with. Might as well follow through. But the one time I did have to cancel, we made plans and I had to go into work. So it was one of those things of, I'm so sorry. If you want, like, and I was trying to accommodate it. So that way it wasn't like, oh, we're going to put it off. Oh, let's put it off. I didn't want to give them the runaround. I made accommodations. I was like, look, come meet me after work. We'll go hang out. If you don't like, I can buy you a drink. Like, we'll go, like, we'll do whatever you want, right? Then that's when I felt the attitude shift. And then that's when I started to feel a little iffy. There was something about the situation I wasn't liking. We did end up hanging out. I wasn't a big fan of this person's attitude about it, though. And again, I was making so many accommodations. I was trying really hard to make sure that they knew I wasn't trying to just blow them off. And I just wasn't a big fan of them after
Hmm.
that. So
I
it was
mean,
like a, yeah, good
I can
tester.
see that. I can definitely
Mhm.
see that. Um, and that is a situation where you got called into work, and that is an unavoidable situation, right?
You gotta go.
Especially you gotta go. Especially if you're, I don't know, if you're a manager, assistant manager, or even, sometimes whatever job it is, when they call you in, you got to go in. But when it's not that situation, when it's like not a situation where it's unavoidable that you have to cancel,
Hmm.
and the person is not canceling, and chances are, Jess, I we've been doing this a while. I know you. You're a delightful person, so it's
Oh,
wonderful to
thanks.
hang out with you. So this person is looking forward to hanging out with you, especially for the first time. And then when you cancel on them,
Hmm.
this is a test for them to see how they react, and if they can stand, and if they react well to being canceled on. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes. Because again, I'm not going to blow you off. I know I won't do that. That's rude. If someone asks you to hang out and really you're not interested, there's
Hmm.
ways around that. And we've
Yeah.
discussed that.
Yeah.
We've discussed it before, right? I need people in my life who are understanding and compassionate
Hmm.
and will be patient. And if
As do
those
we
yeah,
all.
exactly. And if
As
those
do we all. Yeah.
people are like you, where they need that consistent schedule, they need consistency, that's on me to make that allowance. There's a nice little balance there, right? There's a
Hmm.
little
Hmm.
dance, a little tango. We're
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So that's what I'm standing on is I think it's a great indicator. Let's get rid of common courtesy. It's just a great test. It's a fail-safe test. And I love it.
I suppose it is. I
Uh-oh.
have
Are you coming on my hill?
no, I'm not, because I
Shit.
have. Sorry, you thought you won me over, but see, I have an automatic distaste for testing people. And
Okay.
that's me. I believe that people will show you who they are given the opportunity, but I don't like the idea of, like, I want to set up this situation to see how this person reacts, because I did I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. I'm not saying that you are. I'm going to say that it feels manipulative.
I was gonna say, don't you dare call it manipulative, Phil Rickaby. Don't you dare.
I'm not calling it manipulative. I'm saying that, to me, it
Hmm.
feels, by setting up a test for somebody, it feels a little manipulative.
But like I said, it's not going to happen every time. There are times where I still follow through because the feeling is there.
Right.
You got the thing, you got the thing. You can go do it, right? If I'm still relatively unsure of this person and if I'd like to invite them into my life, I'd like to see how they're going to react if I'm not feeling very good.
Right.
I'm not going to force myself to go somewhere I don't want to go. So it's more of like honoring how I feel and putting it out there of, "Hey, listen, I'm really sorry. I'm just mentally not there right now." Again, be honest.
Yeah.
If I can't lie and I can't go, "Okay, that's it. I'm going to ask this person to hang out," but then just not go. That's mean. That's brutal.
This is where I was coming from, because of your initial statement.
Fair enough.
your initial statement that it is common courtesy to cancel the first time. And that is where I got hung up, where I get hung up on this whole, like, this is the hill that you're going to die on, that this is, it's common courtesy to do that. And that's where I get stuck. Because, I mean, for all of the times that we've said, say what you need,
Mm-hmm.
do, do what's best for you, do what feels right for you, all that sort of thing. There have been lots of times when I have not done what feels right for me, in that I have I was going to meet somebody for a coffee for the first time, and I, even though I got home from work and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to, but I did it. And you know what happened when I got there?
Did
I
you have a
had a good
great
time.
time?
I had a good time. Yeah. Yeah.
And see, that's it. Sometimes I won't cancel and I still, have a really odd feeling and I'll do fine. I'll have a good time, a fine time even. Fine time is
Hmm.
fine.
Fine time is fine.
Fine time is fine.
Fine time is
But
fine.
there's still that part of me that was like, see, I kind of wish I had a canceled though over the fine time. You know what I mean? If I'm going to work up all this energy and still not feel the greatest, I better have a damn good time, not a fine time, a good time.
All right. Well, we've learned something for sure today. To get Jess out of the house, you better show her a damn fine time, not just a fine time.
We're not here for a fine time. We're here for a good time. Okay? All right. That's just for our Canadian folks.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure. I see. Yeah, I'm still not able. I'm still not able to join you on this hill. I still
That's
can't
okay.
join you on this hill.
What's stopping you? What is
What's
stopping you from
stopping?
joining me?
Um, I I always, like, whenever I have made a commitment to do something,
Mm-hmm.
I will always do it unless something serious comes up. Like, if I'm sick, I'm not going to go meet you for coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a courtesy to you and to everybody that I might encounter on my way to meet with you. But aside from that, because I made a commitment, I will always make that commitment work. Even if I'm having just a fine time, like if we're like meeting for coffee or whatever,
Right.
I'll leave early, but I made the commitment, so I'm gonna go and, like, hang out, right?
Okay.
I'll give the I don't know if it's a Canadian thing, but the international symbol for it's time to go, where you just sort of go, well, and that lets the person know that it's time for you to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's, you
Yeah.
just let them know, and you go. But for me, I can't. I can't join you on this hill.
So wait, hold on. You're going to, even if you don't mentally aren't there, you're still going to follow through.
Yep.
Oof. Oof.
Yep.
Okay.
I
Okay.
know. I know. I know.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the reason for that is again, if I made a commitment, I don't break commitments. All of these years, I don't break commitments unless there is no way around it. But for something like meeting somebody, I think it comes down to the fact that, if I knew that we were getting together, say on a Thursday evening, I that whole week, knowing that I was doing a thing on Thursday, everything in that week is geared towards getting me out the door on that Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And if that person was to say, I'm sorry, I need to cancel, I would just, like I said, I'd be sort of stuck. I'd be like, don't, I'm, I have, I can't, I don't, like, it'd just be like this, like, I don't have enough energy. Like, need to,
He's stuck in
I
a
have
loop.
social energy and I am stuck in a loop. So it's to me, I guess for me, it's because I've been focused on going out that whole week,
Yeah.
that even if I'm not 100% feeling ready for it, I I I would still do it because of all of the energy being focused on doing that thing.
I've felt that before. In all honesty, I have felt that where I really have gotten myself ready, and although I really was wishing that they would cancel, if they do cancel, and I have felt that where I don't know what to do now. I've been stuck in my own introverted loop. It
Mm-hmm.
sucks.
Yeah.
And I have gone nowhere, and then I've had all that energy built up. I
Yeah.
totally understand. It's a complicated gray area mush, but I will thrive in this. I'm going to thrive.
Can we talk about that introvert loop for a second?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Because I think that we don't talk about that kind of introvert loop very often. And there's different kinds. The one that I think I'm more likely to fall into is because I remember doing in 2019, which feels like 50 years ago, doing the Toronto Fringe, and I'd taken the month off for July. And so
Mhm.
I had the Fringe, and then I had like this time after, and I was, the Fringe do performing and doing all that social stuff, took it out of me, and I was in my apartment for 2 full weeks. And it was just at the end of those 2 full weeks, I was like, I haven't left this apartment or talked to another person, either digitally or in person or textually, in 2 weeks. Maybe I should do that. And then it becomes like this, like, I should do that. I should do that. I don't know. I feel like this circle is. I mean, can you relate to that kind of loop? Or
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because then you get weirded out of like, "Oh gosh, if I reach out to this person, are they going to want to like hang out? Are they going to want to come over? Are they going to ask me to go do something? Oh wait, no, I do want to I just don't want to get, and then you get this back and forth little battle here. Absolutely. I get that every time. Sometimes I just jump in head first and still do it,
Mm,
and then they call me.
mm.
And
Oh,
then I really, oh yeah, and then I
like you
really
reach you
regret my,
reach out by text and they call you.
yeah,
That person's no friend of yours.
that was years ago.
Okay,
We've moved
okay.
on from
We've moved
them.
on. Excellent. Good. Good.
Oh, they're the same person that showed up when we did our last
Oh
episode.
shit! No.
That was them.
Okay. Yeah. Out. Um. I think it's important to have a friend who will be like, "Hey, why don't you come over? We're just playing video games." And you show up at their house, and it's just like sit on the couch and play some video games, and maybe grunt a phrase or two, or like whatever. You watch a movie together, like that kind of like passive entertainment, where it's not like, "Hey, we have to go out and do a thing." I really enjoy the like having a friend where it's just like, let's just sit on the couch and watch a movie. You know, that's a beautiful friendship in my
That is a
mind.
beautiful friendship. I'd never cancel on that. Because those
Right.
people have already made it into my friend circle.
Right, of course.
I look
Okay. Yeah.
forward to those things.
You
Yeah.
haven't tested them yet.
No, because they're speaking a love
Like,
language.
yes, they
Yeah,
are. It's the new people that you haven't tested yet, and they're the
that's
ones that you
right.
okay. Okay.
They're the ones that have to kind of make it, you know? I've worked so hard to guard my life. It's a, and not in
Right.
a bad way, not in like a, stay away, like, but I sounded like a swamp witch. I don't know what that was, but that's what I do.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Swamp witch.
Swamp, I don't know. I just put the, off they go. Anyway, woo. Um I I have these people in my life. I'm very protective, and if anybody wants to be a part of my life, they must be patient and they must be kind. That is all. That's
Mm.
all I ask. That's all. A few other
So
things, but like
so
that's no.
this whole thing that you're doing with the cancellation, all that sort of stuff, is this is part of the audition process to be a
An in,
friend of Jess Gorman's.
an interview, if you will, an interview.
Sure.
I think we can all agree that that is fine. Oh my gosh. I've been pulling at this rubber band, by the way, because I need something, and I
Is this that this is your fidget? The rubber band is your fidget. Are you afraid of the my judgment?
afraid. Af- First, it was a problem. Thank you, everyone. This was the last episode of the intro. No, 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 no. I'm not afraid. I'm not because, like, it. Honestly, yes. It like original context that I brought into the conversation can
Right.
absolutely sound manipulative.
Right.
100%. And I fully and came into this conversation knowing that. Again, though, I think being a good judge of character is not a skill that everybody has.
Mm.
And I think that I got lucky with having that judge of character, and I just had a feeling that that is what you needed as a person is you need your schedule. And I can fully embrace that. You and I were also meeting on we were doing a little networking. Like we'd already done stage worthy, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
in the midst of writing my show, and
Yes.
then we were chatting. Okay, so again,
Yeah.
it was a networking thing, but then we just happened to hit it off as friends. And then like I feel like that's something that again doesn't come easy, and that might be something to help you out is if you don't feel emotionally, mentally ready to go and be there, I encourage you to cancel plans then.
Yes.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Don't lie. Be honest.
Absolutely. And I will agree with you there. And of course, like I would, if you're in the situation where you are going to meet somebody for the first time, make sure that you have agreed to meet in a place where the atmosphere is conducive to your what you prefer. If they're like, yeah, we're gonna go to this really loud bar and hang out, that maybe that's not for you, and that tells you something about the person,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, no, I guess
Because like it also applies to dating too. I feel like one of the big indicators of who a person's character is, watch them get angry.
oh yeah,
If
yeah.
they don't make them angry, but if they get angry in front of you, watch how they handle it because that's a huge, huge tell of a person's character, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
For me it was
Mhm.
always how they dealt with servers or coffee shop staff. Like I want to
Yeah.
see how they talk to the staff when they order their coffee if we're meeting for coffee, or how they talk to a wait person if there's food involved. Like I want to see that because that tells me a bit about who they are. And as somebody who's worked in customer service my whole life, that means something. But yeah, I mean, I would say, I mean, definitely if you don't have it in you, and if you're a person who feels like you can, cancel, and that doesn't cause you anxiety or anything like that, then by all means do it if you don't feel up to it. Um
Mhm.
I still get stuck on your initial statement of the courtesy, and I can't I that's where I get hung up, right? That's where I get hung up because I get that it's like you're sort of auditioning a new friend that you're not quite sure about yet. You're trying, you're testing them a little bit. You're doing all these things, but I get that. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
but not everybody. For myself, as and it might be just I don't know what it is. I get like I am. I'll give you an example. I'm a punctual person, right?
No
And
kidding.
I'm I know. I'm punctual in so much, and this is great for the theater, by the way. Like if you tell me that we're meeting, and this is literally from my Introvert show. If you tell me that we're meeting at 8 o'clock, I'm in the neighborhood at 7:30, right?
Right. Mhm.
And in theater, it's the whole like if you're, you want to if your call time is 8, you are there at 7:30, and that's on time. Like early is on time. I and it's bad because if I'm late for a thing, like even if it's just a couple of minutes late, I'm I get anxiety about that shit. So like,
But
yeah.
wouldn't it be comforting knowing that you're meeting somebody and you're just a few minutes late and you see how nice they are about it?
Oh, sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
That eases the
Absolutely.
anxiety. That's always
Sure.
nice. That's a
That is
little
nice.
test.
That's like
Yeah.
great if they, but my thing is that I don't tend to be late. I tend to be the person who's like waiting and the other person is late. And that's always a problem when I'm like, I'm the one that's on time and somebody's like a half hour late or something or
Right.
more, and you're like, that tells me about that person.
Right. But had I have never met you before and then in passing, you mentioned the punctuality and then we were making plans, I would, as a person, and I hope that other people will put that on the radar of, hey, if you make plans, you have to remember this person, they're there early. Don't cancel last minute.
For a second, I thought you were going to be like, I would show up intentionally like 30 minutes late just to see how you react.
Oh my gosh, no. No. I wouldn't. Okay, again, I'd never do that. If
Okay.
I'm going to be late, I absolutely do the courtesy text of, hey,
Yeah.
5 more minutes, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
I used to know somebody who was like terrible about being on time, and they would send like you'd be like, okay, we're gonna meet at 6:30. So me the first time I'm there at 6 because that's me. 6:30 comes around, they're not out they haven't arrived yet. I give them 10 minutes. I send a text, and they're still at home. They're like, I'm just heading out the door, and you're
Wait,
like, okay,
hold on. Before you
yeah,
go any further, is this a true story?
this is a true story.
Okay,
True
okay.
story. I'm just heading out the door, they say. And so you go, okay, I'll wait. I can wait a little longer. They say, I'm just heading out the door. It'll be 10 minutes. They're a person who drives or whatever. And they're like, it'll just be 10 minutes. And then 10 minutes goes by. Okay, 10 minutes. It's like an estimate. Another 10 minutes goes by. And you're texting them and you're like, hey, you're on your way, right? And they're like, no, I haven't left yet. And then you're like, okay, now we are an hour late and they still haven't left their home. What do I do here? And at that point, you're like, do I just cancel now? Or does that make me seem like the jerk?
Whoever this person was, they effectively canceled the plans
Oh,
when they should.
100%.
That was all them. That is
100%.
rude as hell. Oh my gosh.
But
How
then you're
did you
like,
not leave?
you're like, you're like, okay, maybe we can do this another time. And they're like, oh, no, 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 I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming.
No, 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 no. That's rude.
Yeah.
Nope. Yep.
Yeah.
You never saw this person again, right?
I did, but this is years ago. I would not do this again now, but like I did. And I was more in control of like the showing up and where we were because I was aware of their issue with time. And perhaps that says something about me, Jess Gorman. Perhaps that says something about me.
Maybe. Maybe you should come on this hill and try it out.
You know what I find really interesting about these two I Will Die on This Hill episodes?
Hmm.
First off, my episode when we were talking about my thing with the coffee shop and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
there was no way you were coming on that hill with me.
No, not
I
one.
didn't even try, and I knew that you were not going to. And we left, and you were like, I'm setting you a challenge, Phil. And you set me a challenge, and you have asked me about it every chance that you get.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking about your hill that you will die on.
And I'm
And there
ready.
is no chance that you're coming off that hill. And I can't think of a single challenge to give you that you would
Because
even follow through with.
because it comes from a place of compassion. It does. Like again, there's good caveats. You don't do it for business professionals. You don't do it for networking. Don't do it for there was another one in my head. Don't do it for anything that gives you a feeling that this could lead to something good. Don't pass up those intuition moments of, I don't feel good, but there's something about this that I have to go. And don't do it for people who don't share the same value. and you get that sense of it. And I'm telling you,
Hmm.
I haven't had a problem that I know of.
That you know of. That you know of.
When no, if I canceled and they never talk to me again, I got my answer. I got
True.
my answer. Yep.
For all you know, there is a WhatsApp group of people that you canceled on who are just like, well, at least we have each other. Forget Jess Gorman.
To all my suitors, I'm
Was
sorry. I hope
this
you
a
can all. I hope you can forgive
this
me.
wasn't a thing that you did to test out your suitors, was it? Back when you
No,
were
no, no, no. This was something that like someone would just we were hanging out, just friends. We met at a show one time. We hit it off, and
mm-hmm.
then I again, yeah, just got that weird feeling. And then sure enough, after the
Yeah.
cancellation, I never heard the end of it. And I promised myself that's never happening again.
Oh, you never heard the end of it. It's not like they just
Yeah.
okay.
No, I
Mm.
never they we made plans and they again after that accommodation with, just meet me after work. That's what I was going to say is that they kept saying like, "Oh, let's do this again. Just don't cancel next time." And it kept happening and I
Mm.
was like, "I what happens if like again something comes up? Am I just not going to be able to tell you? Do I
How are
have to
you? I
lie?"
mean, also like that was work, right? But then the like to harp on it like that is like that person is telling you everything you need to know about them, and that is that they will never let anything go
That's right.
that you do that they don't
That's right.
like.
And as I was giving myself this pep talk of you just made someone stay out of your life that didn't need to be there, I found my hill. I got my shovel. I got my grave. And here I am.
So you built your own hill? Did you build
I
this hill of your own so you could die on that hill?
How many holes did I dig myself into? The dirt had to go somewhere, okay?
It's true.
And it made and it made a hill. Did you ask this question?
Yeah.
I'm going to pose it this time.
Yes.
Did you learn anything?
I I I didn't learn anything. I learned a
Did
lot
you?
about you. I learned a lot about my friend Jess Gorman. I
That was
learned
my
about
follow up.
I learned about you, and I learned about what is important to you in a friend.
Hmm.
Not that I didn't already know these things, but it sort of like affirms these things. And um, I learned about how you interact with people.
Well, I just before we sign off on this one, I have a little something for behind the scenes that maybe our listeners don't know. We've taken a few hiatuses over the course of this podcast. And what I really, really treasure about our friendship and why I don't like canceling on you and why my intuition was correct the first time we met up is back during 2020. I was going through a really rough time with
Mm-hmm.
trying to schedule things. I, bought this condo. My family had come down with COVID and they had kids to take care of and it was really rough. And I remember feeling so overwhelmed and telling you, "Phil, I don't want to cancel." What did you do? Do you remember?
I said, "Well, we can take a break as long as you need to."
And you FaceTimed me even.
Yeah,
And you were
I know, but I
comforting.
never do that. I FaceTimed you, and I'm surprised that you picked up. To be honest, I'm surprised that you picked up when I FaceTimed you because I didn't. I don't think I gave you warning about the FaceTime. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna
Well,
FaceTime. Which one? I never do. And two, it's rude, like not to tell somebody that you're gonna FaceTime them, but I did it.
that's right. And it stuck out. Of course, I picked up on it. And then, whenever we were talking there and I told you what was going on, you told me to take care of myself, that it's okay. This podcast is going to be here. And it's true. And it's just, you realize these people that are in your life for a reason. And those are qualities I care about and treasure and value. So I think this episode just reaffirmed to me how we have a nice little balance.
We do
Like
have a
you,
nice little balance. We come
you
from
do.
we come from different points of view, and even though we might have differences of opinion about the hills that we will die on, we are still friends.
That's right.
Before I get into my final preamble, I have a question for our listeners, and that is, how do you feel about Jess's hill? Do you agree about the cancellation thing, or are you on Team Phil and you would not do that? Or you don't do that because of the whole like putting the energy towards the meeting, and then if you cancel or it gets canceled, you're sort of like flailing with all this social energy and nothing to do with it.
Please write to us and tell us, because I need to know who's on my hill. Am I
Jess
making
wants
you
to know that
agree?
she's not alone.
I just don't want to be alone. The irony.
The irony. The irony. Listeners, remember that we give you this podcast for free. We do this every 2 weeks. We give you this podcast every 2 weeks. We give you this podcast because it is something that we care about. We care about educating ourselves and learning about both ourselves and about you and about introversion as a whole. But the important thing to remember is that because we do this and we give it to you for free, and we don't have any advertising or sponsorships or anything like that, doing a podcast does cost us money. It costs us to have a website. It costs us to have a place to host the audio files. It costs for editing and things like that. So I wanted you to know that if you appreciate this show, you can support us. There's a link in the show notes, which you can find on the podcast app or on the website, where you can donate monthly or just a one-time thing. And that will help us cover the cost of doing this show. If just 4 people gave us $5 a month, that would cover the cost of hosting. But even if you can't donate to the show, we're happy that you're listening. We love having you here, and we can't wait to see you next time.